There's a centuries-old gardening trick that might just change the way you feed your plants forever. And well, it all starts with something most people think belongs in a bakery: yeast. Welcome, friends, to what I call the Yeast Feast, an ancient practice that gardeners have used for generations to grow vegetables bigger, healthier, and more nutrient-packed than anything you'd find at the grocery store. If you've ever wondered how old-world farmers managed to produce massive, flavorful crops without synthetic fertilizers, the answer may lie in this humble little microorganism. Today, I'm going to walk you through why yeast works, how to use it, and why it might just outperform your favorite fertilizer. Yeast, as you probably know, is a living organism, a fungus that plays a major role in baking and brewing. But in the garden, its magic lies in its ability to stimulate microbial life in the soil. Healthy soil is a living community, teeming with bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and other microscopic helpers. When you add yeast, you're essentially introducing an instant feast for soil microbes. As the yeast grows and multiplies, it releases enzymes, vitamins, and other growth-promoting compounds that invigorate the entire soil food web. Think of it as throwing a block party for beneficial microbes. Everyone comes, and the plants reap the rewards. This microbial boost has a direct impact on your plant's ability to take up nutrients. Instead of relying on synthetic fertilizers that can create short-lived nutrient spikes, the yeast helps unlock the minerals already present in your soil. It breaks down organic matter more efficiently, releasing nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and a host of trace elements in a steady, plant-available form. For gardeners committed to organic methods, this is a game changer. Not only does it feed your plants, but it also feeds the soil, improving structure, moisture retention, and resilience over time. The process is surprisingly simple. All you need is active dry yeast, a little sugar, and some warm water. Dissolve a tablespoon of yeast and a tablespoon of sugar in about a gallon of lukewarm water. Let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes to activate, and then dilute that mixture into 5 gallons of water. This is your yeast tea, ready to be poured around the base of your plants. For an extra boost, you can stir in a bit of molasses, which provides an additional food source for microbes and helps sustain the fermentation process in the soil. Timing matters, you know. The best time to apply a yeast solution is during the active growing season, so that's spring through early summer for most vegetables, when soil temperatures are warm enough for microbial activity to really flourish. You'll want to apply the tea every 2 to 4 weeks for optimal results. And honestly, you'll notice changes pretty quickly. Leaves get greener, stems become stronger, and you'll see accelerated growth. Root vegetables bulk up faster, leafy greens turn more lush, and fruiting crops like tomatoes and peppers, well, they show improved flowering and fruit set. One of the most fascinating aspects of the yeast method is its historical use, actually. In rural Eastern Europe, farmers brewed yeast mixtures from old bread dough and crop residues, then used it to drench their gardens before planting. In parts of Asia, fermented rice water, rich in naturally occurring yeasts, was poured onto vegetable beds to boost growth. These traditions have stood the test of time because, well, they work. Modern science now confirms what ancient gardeners already knew. Yeast supports beneficial soil microbiology, which in turn supports plant health and productivity. Of course, the yeast feast isn't a magic wand. It works best as part of a holistic approach to soil health, alongside composting, mulching, and crop rotation. If your soil is heavily depleted or compacted, you'll see better results by combining yeast treatments with organic matter additions. But compared to dumping on chemical fertilizers, yeast is cheaper, gentler, and more sustainable. It doesn't disrupt soil life with salt buildup, and it won't harm earthworms or other beneficial creatures. A word of caution: more isn't always better. While yeast is safe, using it too frequently or in overly concentrated doses can upset the natural balance of soil microorganisms. Stick to a schedule and observe your plant's responses. Gardening is as much an art as it is a science, and part of the joy is fine-tuning methods to suit your unique soil and climate. The yeast feast is more than just a clever trick. It's a way of thinking about plant nutrition that prioritizes feeding the soil first. When you nourish the microscopic life underground, you create a self-sustaining system that rewards you with bigger, healthier vegetables without the environmental costs of synthetic fertilizers. It's an approach that honors tradition while embracing modern understanding of soil biology. So, the next time you reach for a fertilizer bag, pause and think about the baker's yeast sitting quietly in your kitchen. It might just be the most powerful, affordable, and eco-friendly plant booster you've ever tried. Give your garden a yeast feast this season, and watch your vegetables transform before your eyes. And if you've enjoyed learning about this ancient gardening secret, don't forget to subscribe. I've got plenty more time-tested tips to share that will keep your garden thriving naturally.